State of Decay, the fourth serial of Doctor Who's 18th season, first broadcast in 4 parts from the 22nd of November to the 13th of December 1980. This was also the second part of the E-Space Trilogy, Full Circle, State of Decay, and Warrior's Gate. And watching this one through, while I don't know if it's necessarily climbed all the way up to being good, I do think it's better than Full Circle. I certainly like it a lot more than Full Circle. So the Fourth Doctor, played by Tom Baker, and his companion Romana, played by Lala Ward, as well as their robot dog K9, voiced by John Leeson, end up trying to escape E-Space, but end up instead on a feudal-style planet where the locals all live in fear of 3 vampire-like creatures who live in a mountain, or a castle on a mountain. The 3 vampire-like creatures are known as Zargo, played by William Lindsay, Camilla, played by Rachel Davies, and Orcon, played by Emrys Jones. Orcon particularly reminded me of one of the characters from the Doctor Who serial The Mask of Mandragora, but I don't know, maybe it was just kind of similar costume. And it turns out that these creatures, every so often, they will come down, or rather send Orcon down to the village to go get the villagers to line up and then select certain ones to join them at the top of the mountain. And some of the people who go up the mountain, they end up becoming like guards or joining the family outright. But a lot of them, it turns out, being drained of their energy and drained of their blood because Zargo, Camilla, and Orcon are drinking their blood and either assimilating the people they drink into new vampire-like creatures or are just drinking them dry and killing them. Now, apparently this story originally started in 1977. Like the original draft of it was known as The Vampire Mutations, and it was meant to be a story for the Fourth Doctor and Leela. However, at the time, in 1977, the BBC had been doing Count Dracula on TV, so apparently they didn't want to do 2 vampire-themed properties so close together, so they put The Vampire Mutations on hold, put it into storage, and just forgot about it for a while. But in 1980, when looking through old scripts, they found it and like, yeah, we can adapt this for the Space Trilogy, and they slotted it in. Now, as I said, I do think I prefer this a little bit more than Full Circle. I mean, Full Circle was okay, I just felt some parts of it were a little dull. And while this isn't full on all the time, I do actually think it's got some good parts to it. I mean, the idea of the mountain is actually sort of like an ancient spaceship. I do like that idea. It did remind me of, if you look on YouTube for the Super Cullen brothers, one of their kind of Pixar theories was that the mountain in Onward was actually a crashed spaceship from the movie WALL-E. To which I do kind of like the idea that the spaceship is now a mountain. And the way the Doctor ultimately defeats the vampires, that is, they have to find some way of firing basically a large sheet of silver into them, and that's problematic at best. But what the Doctor ends up doing is essentially firing a pod out of the spaceship, up into the air, then it falls down and essentially slices through the heart of an underground main vampire that they're trying to destroy, and it is quite nice. Also, Adric returns here, played once again by Matthew Waterhouse. Sorry, I didn't mention him before, but turns out he had stowed away aboard the TARDIS, and he ends up going down into the village looking for the Doctor and Romana, and ends up befriending the villagers, but then ends up being taken by Orcon up to the mountain, and it turns out that he is going to be assimilated to join the vampire class, which they do manage to do some quite fun stuff in it. I do also like, there's a moment in part 4 when the Doctor is kind of talking with a group of rebels who have been planning to take down the vampires for ages. He says to them, well, actually, I've got someone who might be able to help. He's indestructible, yeah, he's clever, and he's got a laser in his nose. He'll be great. K9? Then K9 just rolls out, and the villagers look like at him like, what? Or even just at the end, when they're kind of wrapped up and they defeated the vampires and everything, and the villager says, well, I guess I owe you and K9 an apology. Well, go on then. Leans down to K9, so like, I'm very sorry for how I acted. Apology acknowledged. I love that. I mean, they do actually use K9 here to great effect, and the vampire setting, I think it worked well. As I said, I don't know if this story works its way into being good, but at the same time, I did like it more than Full Circle. So I've only got one more story of this particular trilogy to go. We have Full Circle, Safe to Decay. The last one is Warrior's Gate, which was, of course, Lala Ward's exit story, but we'll wait and see what that one is. But I'd say I'd rank State of Decay fairly well. Anyway, until next time, see ya.